Welcome back to Airgun Academy. In our last episode, we showed you the Benjamin Discovery, and we used a high-pressure hand pump in order to charge the rifle. High-pressure hand pumps are just one way to fill a pre-charged pneumatic airgun. This may look a lot like a bicycle pump, but inside is a complex design that incorporates 3 separate pump mechanisms into this one unit. These hand pumps are rated to pump up to 3,000 pounds per square inch, or PSI, and some hand pumps can go even higher than that. But before I show you how they work, here's a little history. PCPs have used hand pumps for many centuries. The vintage pumps were more like today's bicycle pumps. They were simple, one-stage units. Even so, they could pump up to as high as 800 PSI depending on the person's weight. As the force of the downward pump stroke increased, the output pressure increased. A 200-pound man could generate up to 800 PSI with a lot of work. Vintage airguns required hundreds of pump strokes per fill. Since vintage big-bore airguns were restricted to nobility and extremely wealthy people, a servant was given the task of refilling the gun. Also, the Austrian army used a .47 caliber repeating rifle in 1780, and they had trailer-mounted pumps operated by 2 men filling all the butt flasks. The modern hand pump certainly makes filling an airgun cheaper and easier. Now, let's talk about how to use the hand pump. First, close the brass bleed screw at the base of the pump. Next, connect the pump to the gun. There are many different kinds of connectors, but I'm using a Benjamin pump and connecting it to a Benjamin Discovery PCP, so the connectors are perfectly matched. Now you can begin pumping. The first few strokes will fill the base of the pump and the hose, so the pressure gauge will show a rapid increase. When the pump is pressurized to the same pressure as the rifle's reservoir, air will begin to force its way into the reservoir with each stroke. Then, the needle will slow down because you're filling a much larger space inside the gun. There are 3 separate pumps inside this unit, and it takes time for the air to move from one of them to another. So, we recommend that you pull the pump handle all the way to the top and hold for a second. Then push all the way to the bottom and hold for another second. The pump compresses air on both the upstroke and the downstroke. Holding still for a second at the top and bottom of each stroke gives the air time to move completely from one chamber to the next. As the air pressure rises in the gun, the pumping effort becomes harder. It may be difficult for a person weighing under 140 pounds to operate the hand pump beyond 2,000 PSI. Now, let's talk about the length of time you can operate the pump. The first hand pumps, which were made about 15 years ago, were very sensitive to heat buildup, so it was recommended to pump for no more than 5 minutes, followed by a 15-minute break to allow the pump to cool down. This Benjamin pump is made with superior seals that can take the heat, but just the same, do not race when you pump. If you're filling a Discovery, you'll finish before 5 minutes have passed anyway. When the gun is filled, there's just one more thing to do. Disconnect correctly. This is a maintenance procedure. If you do it the right way, the pump should last for a long time without replacement seals. To disconnect, you must first bleed the air from the pump. This compressed air will also blow out all moisture that is collected in the base of the pump, so it's very important that you do it right. Simply open the brass bleed screw and allow the high pressure air to exhaust rapidly. You'll often see moisture coming out with this blast. Now, let's talk about maintenance. There's no owner maintenance for this hand pump, other than using the proper air bleed technique after filling. If you wipe the dark grease off the silver pump shaft that's exposed when the pump handle is lifted, the seals will fail very quickly. So remember, no lubrication is required by the owner. One tip that experienced air gunners have learned is to protect the pump from dust when it's used in the field. It's especially vulnerable when the base is bled of high pressure air, and dust from the ground can be kicked up by the air exhaust. So, let the pump sit on something that will not generate dirt or dust when it exhausts. We've given you some history about hand pumps. We've talked about operation and maintenance. Now, let's talk about the benefits of high pressure hand pumps and recap what we've learned. The high pressure hand pump offers these outstanding features. Freedom from scuba tanks. There are no dive shop fees. It's lightweight and convenient to carry. And it's virtually maintenance free. If you follow these simple steps, your high pressure hand pump will last for years. Stop at the top and bottom of every pump stroke. When you disconnect, open the brass bleed screw and allow the high pressure air to exhaust rapidly. Don't wipe the grease off the silver pump shaft. And protect the pump from dust when you use it in the field. Take care of your hand pump and keep on shooting those pre-charged pneumatic air guns. Check out Pyramid Air online for a full selection of PCP rifles and pistols. Thanks for watching Airgun Academy. Stay tuned for another great lesson from Pyramid Air.